Welcome back to another episode of Scryer's Room. I am your host, Fanfare.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mario.
And we have Nick.
Hello.
My brother, in fact.
Actually, do you have anything else you wanted to go by? We can bleep that.
Nah, that's fine.
Alright.
Protect my identity.
Yeah, you never know. We talk about some wild shit on the podcast, so I understand people not wanting to be associated.
Yeah. I have some strong opinions that maybe are best kept to themselves about the English. So
You guys go in on it.
honestly, I don't have a problem with the English. It's an easy joke to make, and so
Low-hanging fruit.
I'm all about that low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, always a good time. No, tonight, one of the things we would like to discuss is the acclaimed manga series and animated movie, Akira.
Yes.
So, there are some strong opinions in this room about that series, be it the movie or the anime or the manga.
We have both sides of the issue.
I never got around to reading it. I know that it's good, and I know that I should.
Yeah.
I love the movie. I believe the movie is important, not necessarily just for its actual content, but just the workings around the movie, like the amount of love that went into animating that.
Oh yeah.
It holds up. Back in the '80s, it holds up, and some of the modern shit look like it's trash.
Oh, yeah.
It's fucking gorgeous.
And so much of it is iconic. People are still doing the motorcycle thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because it fucking rules.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Akira, the movie itself, it was good. It was good. However, the manga actually
It's the story.
it has much more of itself. It's a more completed thing than the movie is allowed to be because, movies are constrained by their time and budget and not having people read them off of a page once a month from a manga, which you can go much further than maybe a film would let you go.
Yeah.
So a little backstory here.
Yeah,
Right.
let's talk about why we're talking about Akira today.
Well, okay, so initially, we can actually say that this is one of the things that made Tony want to start doing this. It's because one night, I just came over to hang out, and I was like, Tony, I just watched Akira for the first time. I hate it. And then I proceeded to explain why I hate the movie, not the manga. I don't have any issue with the manga. Why I hate the movie Akira. And it's very, very, very specific. And it's not to refute anything Tony said. Akira's a landmark film. It's beautifully animated. It's super important for the history of bringing anime to the West, and all that shit that's 100% true. My argument has nothing to do with that.
right.
I hate it because of how it treats a singular character, and that she's the only one who didn't do anything wrong. That's Kaori. That's
Yep.
Tetsuo's girlfriend.
They squished her.
For no reason.
And then, she just gets beaten up by bikers, too. The whole movie exists basically just to shit on that girl's chest, and they just play it off like that's fine.
And no one cares except Tetsuo. Tetsuo is literally the only person who gives a fuck about her.
It's the brutal year of 2020 in Tokyo, man.
It's hard times. But literally no other character says a word to her.
Yeah.
Even after she gets her nose broken, basically, and was sexually assaulted. And then Kaneda comes in to save the day and punches that guy in the face. He doesn't do anything to help her.
No. They throw a shirt on her or
Tetsuo
something.
takes off his jacket.
Oh, he
and
does.
puts
Oh,
it
yeah,
on
it's
her.
him. Yeah. God bless.
And then he's the only one upset, and he's pissed because he couldn't protect her. And then Kaneda's basically just you're being a real bitch right now. Why are you being such a little bitch about this?
The important thing is that guy got punched.
Yeah, we beat him up. What's the issue? I don't see anything wrong here. Your girlfriend's
God bless.
nose is just broken. It's cool. So yeah, and then
So he came in with that hot take.
yeah, that's why I dislike the movie.
Isolated incident number 1.
Well, then also, I remember specifically the argument you made was at the end when Tetsuo's becoming a flesh monster, and she's getting crushed, and he's pleading, please help her.
He is begging Kaneda, stop me somehow. I'm hurting her.
Yeah.
Please. And Kaneda's just what did you say? What? I didn't hear. I'm sorry. And then, it's fetishized how, gruesome
How
Yeah.
murdered
they
she
depict
got.
how she dies. And then, what really pissed me off about that was immediately following that, Kanada's then the one who's like now in danger of getting squished. And then I always call them the old baby people.
The old babies.
Yeah, because that's what they are. So the
yeah.
weird little psychic children, if you're not familiar. And they then are talking between themselves, and it's just like, oh, we need to save him. He had nothing to do with this. After she just got literally crushed to death in the most gruesome way, and they're just like, we got to save this guy. The biker gang leader who sells drugs.
Yeah.
He did nothing wrong.
And was working with terrorists.
Just trying to make his way through 2020 Tokyo.
And then
Tokyo.
It's a hard life.
They sacrificed themselves to save him, and then everyone else is fine. Tetsuo, like, basically ascends to, godhood. So I guess he's fine. And then even Chucklefuck friend number 2... that random other gang member who's just there, who like brought the laser, who used the laser gun or whatever, he's just fine. And then they're just like joking and laughing, like that was crazy, right, bro? And it's like, yeah, man. And then roll credits, go fuck yourself. Like, anyway, so that's me. I could go on about how I didn't really like any of the characters that much because they're gang members.
Right.
And sell drugs.
And
then
they're
the
not
opening
even...
is them vandalizing stuff for no reason.
They're not even gang members in like a dystopia where it's like, oh, they fight the government or they like hate corporation. They're like, no, we hate society.
Yeah,
we like breaking windows.
They're just assholes. And it's like
accurate.
It looks cool. I'll give you that. It certainly looks
badass.
Yeah. I'm not arguing that, but I didn't as an adult. If I had watched this as a teen, maybe my opinion would be entirely different. But watching it as like a grown man was like, what am I supposed to like here besides how pretty it is? Like
honestly, that's my argument is that, anime pretty. Look at how gorgeous this is,
and it is.
And look at how trippy it is.
It
like
is.
when like the old babies are playing a trick on Tetsuo and they just become giant stuffed animals and shit. Yeah. And that was a cool sequence. It was animated well, psychedelic. But yeah, as far as like me giving a shit about any of the characters, I definitely didn't.
Well, they had to get certain story beats in there from the manga so that it like is, it still has the DNA of itself. They don't have time to make you like experience a full character arc. Come on. It's an anime movie. I don't know if I've ever seen an anime movie that has a complete character arc.
Yeah, I've been meaning
outside of like the like the ones where none of the characters turn into giant monsters or anything.
I've been meaning to
boring
watch
ones,
the Aelita movie, but not the James Cameron, but the actual.
Oh, it's bad.
And, yeah, I heard, but it's what you said. You said it was bad, so I guess better not to. But
it's pretty.
I do want to see for myself. But yeah, like I really one of our first episodes was Battle Angel Aelita, if not the first episode.
Might
have been the second, but yeah, man.
So I gave that whole spiel to Tony, and he was like, "Wow, I've never thought about it like that. That's pretty cool." Like, like he responded very positively. Pivot. I tried to do
before we pivot though. I specifically remember, going back to that being one of the inceptions of the podcast. Yeah, he drunkenly started ranting to me about this, and I was like, I need to capture this passion on the microphone. I need to fucking rev this man up and sick him on my microphone. But yeah, anyway, pivot to Nick.
And we shift, and I'm extremely drunk, and then I try to give the same spiel to Nick.
Yeah.
Did not go over well.
Yeah, no. And
as someone who had never seen the movie but had read the manga, I did not agree at all with his assessment of Akira.
And how the narrative treats its characters.
Yes, because the manga has the time to go in depth more and flesh out these characters that are just snot-nosed punks and whatnot.
So like I looked into it because I didn't read it, but like I just got the gist of it, and while still problematic, they handle my particular issue a lot better.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because it's more of a full story.
Yeah,
which they had the time to do, which you don't have. You don't have the time to do that in 90 minutes.
They simply did not have the time to go that far in the 90 minutes.
But did Nick explain it like that?
No, of course
not. No.
He was just goading me the entire time.
Yep.
Knowing I'm like piss drunk already. Just being like, but how do you know if you've never read it? And I'm like, I'm not.
Well, no, because like the honest of the conversation, the punchline was that you didn't know he never watched it, and you only picked up like halfway through that he never read it. But you guys are both arguing about Akira being good / bad.
They're both drunk,
arguing
by
your
the way.
stance.
Yeah, we're
getting
both drunk.
drunker by the minute.
Yeah.
And then it finally comes out that Nick has never actually seen the movie, so Mario's all of his arguments are finding no purchase because he literally can't comment. Like,
Now, an important part of this dynamic to understand also is that they have differing antithetical responses to getting drunker. You see, Mario digs more in. He thinks if he says the right words in the right order, it'll just work. And he's gonna find them. And on the other end, Nick stops, like, engaging with the concept. He starts just being... The conversation's about the feelings of the conversation. He's feeling angry. Let's spice that up a bit.
Which, yeah. Drunk Mario is a fun guy. Blackout Mario cannot be reasoned with.
oh man, Blackout Mario almost pissed on my couch twice.
Yeah, 2 times.
Yeah. I've seen this man's dick 3 times, non-voluntarily.
It's the worst kind of dick seeing there
Got a
is.
nice dick.
He does have a very nice dick.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Like I say that with 100% honesty and integrity.
Yeah, we have a phrase for it. We started calling it the slump.
Yeah, the slump. We haven't mentioned the slump in a while.
Because I've been a good boy for a while.
Yeah. He's been a great boy.
But yeah, there's a certain stage where it's like, I'm fine until I'm not.
Yeah,
and then
it's a switch.
And it happens
It is a
instantaneously. And then they started noticing that as soon as Mario starts leaning forward, those shoulders are drooping. Mm-hmm. They know I'm checked out.
Once the center of gravity's off.
I am not there anymore.
And the worst part is when he becomes that guy, as we call him, like he'll just do drunken oafish shit and then giggle about it. That's the part. That's the part that infuriates me because I pride myself on being one of those people who, like, takes care of the homies when they're blacked out, drunk, or hungover. I relish that in that. Like when someone's like so fucking hungover on the couch they might as well be crippled, and I walk over with a bottle of water. I'm like, hey there, little buddy, do you need this? And like in any other circumstance, being patronizing like that will get you slapped. Right. But because they're currently dying, like, oh my god, thank you. Thank you so much, please.
Angel has come.
Yeah. I relish being in that position. But there was one time, yeah, you had just puked all over the front room.
Yeah, because me and Nick had gone to Smoky Bones.
Oh yeah, Smoky Bones nights.
And gotten all smoked.
I ate a bunch of food and everyone else's food. And then we got unreasonably drunk, as we do.
Yep.
Like, one time he left there with a $500 tab, I think.
Oh my!
It was around there.
God.
It was 400 plus at least. Yeah.
Between 3 guys.
It became a game to us to see how high of a bill we could rack up.
These are like $5
Your bourgeois
drinks,
competition
too.
disgusts
We weren't
me.
buying like $20 fancy drinks. No, give me $5 well beer and well whiskey, you know.
I want the cheapest thing you have, and I want you to give it to me so much that it's like I ordered the most expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hand me one more of those White Claws, please, not to interrupt. There are no laws when there are White Claws.
Alright, so I explained why I hate Akira. Nick, why do you love Akira, the manga?
Yeah.
It's just a great emotional ride, really. And then it's been many, many years since I've read it.
By the way, we sprung this on his ass.
And that's kind of the reason.
Drop this on me. So I can't explain too well right now why I like Akira so much. I do still like Akira so much. But I know that it's true. But I couldn't tell you why.
I mean,
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Akira, like the difference between the movie and the manga.
The movie is, as I understand, is basically like the halfway point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
They basically, I mean, the rest of the manga.
Also, Akira is just like a guy in the manga. He's not like chopped up bits.
Yeah,
right?
he's the unchopped up bits. He is still just around and kicking, and then he gets a babysitter who has a similarly terrible fate. It's Kaori. But like the difference between the where the movie ends and the manga goes to, essentially the status quo is maintained that entire time of sci-fi hijinks versus military versus survivors, which makes for an excellent longer story where you get to, like, you know, see these characters do things in more situations. You get to like know and understand them more. But in terms of like where the story needed to go, the end of the movie was just fine. The end of the movie was a bunch of fucking people die, and we don't understand what we did to make these children magic, but it turns out that the beauty of the human soul is infinite, and then giant monstrification thing ends in he ascends to godhood, everyone's dead. The real difference between the movie and the manga is the end is that Japan, like Neo-Tokyo or wherever they are, is completely taken over by like Mad Max biker gang children who are like, we're starting a new country and none of you assholes from the military are going to be involved. That's really the main difference between their endings for me. They serve the same purpose up until the part where I feel like there's probably like a more informed take that I could have where it'd be like, oh, well, it's actually a reference to this reform of Japanese imperialism that the author really believed in. I don't know anything about that. I also just put those words in any order. Please don't cancel me if that's a Hitler if that's a Hitler opinion to have.
Wasn't there supposed to be like nuke parallels or something?
Oh yeah,
because like big explosion at the end.
I mean, yes, in that, like, what has science done? We truly do not understand the majesty and beauty of the power of the universe that we are attempting to control. And also, why are we weaponizing this? Anyone who would weaponize this thing that could obviously destroy civilization would be a real asshole. And in the back, there's just an Uncle Sam in the back of the theater just... Ooh! Yeah. It was complicated.
Didn't understand.
Oh man. Yeah, no, beautiful movie though. Beautiful movie.
Oh yeah,
it's real pretty. It is. I can't argue that.
And iconic. So many of the things about it have like lasted. I think, in large part because like they held on to the idea of make it cool from like the biker side of things.
Also for like the Westerners, it's usually the situation of that was baby's first anime.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like, that was a lot of people's introduction to like, this is before they had the word for anime. This is their first Japanimation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and back in like, I don't know, want to misquote the date or whatever, but in like 2000 or something like that, MTV came out and said, this is the best anime movie of all time, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing about this. Yeah, yeah.
So it was on the map back then, to the point where even MTV was like, this shit's dope.
Because didn't it, like, nail the box office in Japan? Like, I'm pretty sure.
Must? Mm-hmm. I mean...
Because I know not Ninja Slayer. God, not Ninja Slayer.
I mean, arguably as masterful.
Yes.
But the Demon
Recite
Slayer...
your death haiku.
The Demon Slayer movie is one of, like, I think, if not the number one, it, like, was one of the number one
Oh, yeah,
movies.
that one...
Train one?
Yeah.
That shit was pretty
The one that shouldn't have... So, I read the manga, so I'm a hater, unfortunately. I'm trying to be less of a hater this year. This is our first podcast of the new year.
Oh, yeah, it is.
And, I'm trying to be less of a hater in my opinions. But I feel like if you wanted to make a movie about Demon Slayer, that train arc wasn't the move. That was boring.
Yeah, I mean, the climax of the movie was dope, though. You know, the fight scene, it was good.
I mean, yeah,
it kind of worked for the movie because most of the movie was like, this is dumb.
Yeah.
Also,
why
for
are we on
know,
this train
like,
still?
just like Akira, looked real good, didn't it?
It did
look really good.
It did look really good, but it should have barely been like 2 episodes.
You know what's even worse
What?
is that when that new season came out after the movie came out, the first like 10 episodes of that season was just the movie broken up.
I don't know if I
That's
care
kinda-
for that.
See, and they did that with Dragon Ball 2, and I feel like it's establishing a trend where that's just acceptable. Because what else they do that in? There was
Except
something else.
Dragon Ball Super, it looked like shit.
Oh my
Like,
god, some of those Dragon Ball Super movies are terrible.
Well, the movies looked good, but when they redid the episodes, it was just like, man, like there's like whole memes about how bad Super looks, where it's like they take
Yeah.
still image and it's like Goku and he's all like He's like trapezoidal, like
Grunkled.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
If Frieza's in the background of any scene, they give him like Nikes that he's wearing. They don't draw his lizard feet.
pretty much.
Oh man, fuck. Yeah, but Akira did so
Right.
well in the box office that like I think that's part of why it was they really pushed it over here because I thought it would be if it's good enough here, it can be good enough there.
And it also was like helped get rid of that concept of like, look, cartoons can be for adults.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
'cause that was a big thing in the West was that
Yeah.
like cartoons are for children.
Yeah.
Which is really dumb when you like actually get into the history of cartoons.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like Looney Tunes and Popeye and all that was made for adults. Like, and it was just so happened that children can also enjoy them because they're silly and not like vulgar.
Yeah.
But that was a prevalent concept, and then Akira being so fucking brutal was just like, check this shit out. Like,
Children should not be watching.
yeah, this is a cartoon your kid can't watch.
Speaking
Yeah,
of,
true shit,
I
true
remember many year ago, back when Netflix sent you DVDs
The Stone Age.
in the mail.
In the before time.
In such the before time that my family didn't have a DVD player. If you wanted to watch a DVD, you went to the computer room on the desktop, and you could watch it there.
Remember? I mean, a lot of you listening won't remember, actually. Fuck, bro. I feel old.
Anyway, Toonami was huge at the time, and my parents were like, "Oh, there's an anime on the Netflix. We should get an anime for the Kevin." And then it was Spriggan, which ruled, but was highly inappropriate.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Because the climax of the film is a telekinetic child doing just like trying to do an end of the world thing, and the main character, a teenager with superpowers and a great big knife, just shoves that knife right into that little boy.
Oh, man.
And it's they make a meal of the scene.
Oh, man.
He's dead,
Got his ass.
and everyone celebrates.
Yay!
Get him! Fuck that little boy!
Jesus Christ.
Kill him!
Sometimes you gotta kill that little boy.
Yeah.
You know, or that,
Anyway, that movie rules.
you know, one of the only instances I can think of at the top of my head where, like, the phrase, sometimes you gotta kill that little boy applies. Inuyasha.
Yeah.
That evil baby was a fucking problem, man. The fucking evil baby. You remember Evil Baby? Inuyasha? Yeah. The fucking Hakudoshi, I think his name was.
The one that got cut in half and then became two evil babies.
Yeah, it became two evil babies.
And then became an
Hold
evil
on.
baby and an evil toddler.
Why wouldn't they grow up at the same rate?
Don't worry about it,
Who
man.
can say?
Yeah, who can say? The Japanese are inscrutable people.
Because obviously one half was the new half. You know,
So that one's just born.
That one's just started.
It turns
And
into
the other half is
a fresh baby.
Yeah.
You know, I actually buy that.
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously. Now as a tradition,
Yeah.
It's Inuyasha. It doesn't need to
it
make
doesn't need to
sense.
make sense, bro. It stopped making sense.
Another great
Yeah,
one,
early on.
although it's the gender bender of the legal lowly is Cowboy Bebop.
With Ed.
The little boy who doesn't age and he's actually
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like
he's
a,
like,
like a
yeah.
90-year-old
yeah,
man.
Yeah.
And they got to use the magic
Sometimes
stone
you gotta kill
to
that
shoot him
evil
in the fucking
baby.
head because he's immortal
I
otherwise.
forgot about that arc.
Yep.
Yeah.
I remember watching that episode, and I saw it as an adult only relatively recently, and I only remember seeing it like on Toonami as a child, and I remember thinking the whole time like, I'm not remembering that right. That ain't what went down. And then that one, and the one where he fights the big fat clown man.
Dude, that was
that
fucking,
was
that's a trip.
terrifying.
It's a trip.
Yeah, awful. That one haunted me, and they happened
why-
exactly like I remembered.
The episode that I don't remember seeing growing up, but we watched it recently as adults, was the one with the cowboy.
Oh yeah,
I
that
didn't
guy
remember
ruled.
that at all. That guy was so fucking cool. He's just the worst.
But he brought his horse into the building to chase down people.
Like
He's a
Chad.
real bounty hunter.
Like a real,
He rules.
He's also like the most racist man ever. Except the end. Doesn't he just decide he's going to be a samurai at the end?
Oh
Yeah.
my god, he does.
Yeah, he becomes a samurai.
Appropriation at its finest.
I mean, they're in like the space future, which technically is only like 20 years from now because they were very optimistic back then.
Oh yeah.
But like in the space future, they're past that whole cultural representation thing. Samurai is an idea like caveman, where it's like, it's just from the past. It's a thing that used to be. They don't have, like, Japan anymore.
Now you're being racist against Neanderthals.
I do have a bad habit of being racist against them. I use them as an insult pretty frequently.
Yeah, sorry. To any Neanderthals listening, I apologize for the content of this podcast, but I will continue to rip on you.
Or as you might say,
Unga bunga. Fuck. Oh, man. Okay, so we have another item on the docket here. Something that I actually loathe to discuss.
Sucks, yeah.
So there was DC recently announced a...
Well, I don't even know if it was recently announced or if it just came out and people are now talking about it. But it's something that we certainly all need to start talking about.
I don't think we do.
Well, whether you want to talk about it or not, it's something that should not be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
I'm not saying we should talk about it like, this is really it. I'm saying we should talk about it like, that's the line. We found it. Congratulations, everyone. We can go home.
It's in the same vein as that, like, you have to acknowledge things like... We can't hide that some bad things were done in World War II, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
The Trail of Tears happened.
And
We can't change history.
and unfortunately, this comic,
It's happened.
If this was a fan project, I'd be like, go for it, bro.
Yeah,
This
Live
fanfic's
your
been
best
out
life.
there.
Yeah,
This is old content.
You
for a
do it,
fanfic.
but as an official product, why? Just why?
Well, that's enough dancing around the title of this thing.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are, of course, talking about the Harley Quinn fart fetish comic.
Yes, Harley Quinn. Silent but deadly. But, of course,
Is that what
spelled-
it's called?
Yes.
No! No!
How do I spell butt?
B-U-T-T, my friend.
Ah!
You see, it wasn't enough to just get the one fart joke. We needed to do two in that one.
Christ. Jesus fucking
Also,
Christ.
infuriatingly, it's like, conceivably, she can actually, like, do this, like, have these weird, like, fart things, because fairly recently, it's been established she's just a reality warper.
Yeah, because they do that now with certain characters. They get popular, and so
Now she has OP power.
now she has an OP power, but luckily it's not going to come up a lot, except when we paint her into a corner and just make it happen.
So, the explanation being that she's so crazy that she can access the fifth dimension, which gives her powers basically identical to Mr. Mixel-Spitalik, who's a fifth dimensional imp and a mischievous little, basically omnipotent guy who's a Superman villain.
Man, that sucks.
That's
Is
so
that the
lame.
Leprechaun Superman would fight?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And then he has
That
to
guy
trick him
was a
into
dick.
saying his
Yeah.
name backwards.
Yeah.
No, and he's just a troll. Like,
Yeah.
at any point, he could probably kill he might be able to kill Superman, because he's basically all-powerful.
Right.
Like, but he just is there to be a dick, not
Right.
actually, like, hurt anybody.
He's just a great Gazoo-type character, so he
Yeah.
just sort of fucks around. He does things like, Superman, would it be so easy if Metropolis was all made of pillows?
Yeah. She can do him stuff, like, basically just whatever. So she could just have fart powers now.
Yep.
That's fine.
Who wrote this shit?
Now, I want to bring up some points here. First and foremost, why do we dislike this? Well, besides the fact that it's obviously somebody's fetish, like that's any
people's fetish.
Yeah.
argument that the creators don't have this as a fetish is nullified by this thing's existence, because, like, that just means you're really good at lying. If you are trying to pass off, no, I don't have a fart fetish. This is just
This fits the character.
This is just a hot lady farting for comedy reasons.
I can genuinely see that, though, as, like,
All of them?
not all of them, but some guy having this idea and being, like, hilarious, right? And then...
Yeah.
And then everyone looks at
Yeah.
him with a knowing look.
I could buy some people just being just true believers. Being like, that is pretty
And
funny.
then it's a situation of, like, Joker 2, where it's like the suits are just like, yeah, sure, go for it. Meanwhile, other writers in the back are like, no fucking way. Like, They approved. You hear it? They approved the fart thing. Like
what happened was there was one guy with an earnest idea about what he thought would be really funny, and then he went up to the guy in charge, and he was like, "Hey, I want to make this. Isn't that funny?" And that guy just inside his head is like, "No, don't give him any clues that this is your fetish."
We've been waiting for this day.
I'll run it up to the boys upstairs, if you'll excuse me. And then he gets up and runs as fast as he can to the
his boner.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about this in a previous episode, but it reminds me of the Imp Minda thing, where the guy like can't help but make a semen demon.
Yeah,
like,
he just draws, and then he's like, "This is another sex goblin." Damn it! I was trying to write a concerto.
Like, I just imagine a guy like, "Oh, we need new content for DC, man. We gotta push the boundaries of what is normal, and like, you know, everything's been done before, so we gotta do something different." And this guy, like this pure innocent, like this fucking sweet cinnamon of a man, just keeps writing all of the worst fetishes, and he like doesn't realize he's doing it, and then all his like people come to check his work, and they just look at him like he's a degenerate. He's like, "Why? Why do you keep doing
like
this?"
He's a fetish Mr. Magoo.
Yeah.
Who just is like, no, I inflated that character because, like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Inflation,
and then he
fart.
And he flies around. It's funny. And everyone's like, uh-huh. What about this one where they're being crushed by a giant foot? Gross, right? And they're like,
what about this
yes,
one where this
gross.
giant thing's eating the person?
Yeah, but I was gonna say more. Like, just like all the fucking degen pervert fetishes, and then they just are unironically pitching these to like the guy. And the one that was the least weird was the fart one to them. That could be.
These are all viable theories, gentlemen.
Yeah, you know?
But the fact remains, it exists,
and it shouldn't,
and it's official. And the people who have released it are really mad. Everyone's like, "That's fart fetish porn." they're mad. They're like, "You don't understand art," and we're like, "It's first of all, it's a hot lady dressed not as a clown, but as an approximation of an extremely sexy punk rock clown, which has a different connotation to it than her being dressed as a clown." Okay? If she was a clown and farting, I'd believe you more. I'd believe you have a different fetish.
Clown fetish.
Yeah. But I'd believe you more. But this is effectively like a supermodel dressed as a clown stripper who's farting, and everyone's like, haha, it's funny, right? We're going to zoom in on her. The cover is her ass front and center.
Nice.
And a green cloud being sprayed out.
Nice.
It couldn't be more clearly.
And it's
silent
like
but deadly.
Yep.
Honestly,
God.
The panel that like I found even more problematic was
here it is.
Superman inhaling it, and then just the speech bubble.
Oh yeah,
my favorite, my kryptonite.
Oh my God.
That's the cover. So yeah, that Superman thing is from a different comic, but I really...
Oh, is it? Okay. No, okay, all right.
Yeah, this is the Superman.
I'm much happier with that then. Okay.
This is Ultraman inhaling kryptonite because... Yeah. But Harley Quinn, I've had a problem with lately. Harley Quinn was a fun character for a long time, and then the thing happened that makes me stop liking a character, which is a lot of other people started liking a character.
She got too popular.
She got popular, and unfortunately my innate hipster haterisms kicked in, and she immediately lost all stock.
But not only did she get popular, she changed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, am I gonna...
Normies ruin everything.
Normies do ruin everything, just like Rick and Morty.
Just like Rick and Morty. Pour one out for our homies, man.
I remember liking things.
Yeah, I do too.
When things were good.
So the biggest change is that whole like powers thing, but it's like
I
as
really
far as,
don't like hearing that she has powers.
Harley Quinn as like her current incarnation has been like kind of pretty consistent to the point where like she has now spent more time as her own like independent character away from the Joker.
Yeah.
Right.
By like quite a bit.
She's no longer a sidekick.
Yeah, she's not like Joker's like girl anymore. She's just Harley Quinn.
unfortunately, her character suffers quite heavily from her involvement with him because she's still dressed as a prostitute clown. And more power to her for it. However, if you have just a character that's a sexualized thing, and then you make a fart fetish comic about it,
which that's when the
there's
change started for me, in my opinion, is when they started to sexualize it. Because the Harley Quinn I know and love is the one from the 90s Batman
series,
with
the original
where she wore a body glove.
A body glove that's the Harley Quinn costume everyone's thinking about.
And she was just a bimbo. She was just fucking Joker's
dumb.
bimbo.
She had a hammer.
I was once a therapist, but I went mad from the Joker, and now I'm in love with him.
Yeah.
So, if I can be a writing dork for a second, though.
What's sexy about that?
Yeah.
Non-clown fetish people.
I remember this guy saying
I'm glad you clarified, because I was going to say, there's quite a few people who
I just
like that version.
remember, I forget who the guy was when I was watching one of the episodes with some guy that I definitely didn't want to be hanging out with, and I never hung out with again. Right. And Harley Quinn comes on, and she starts talking to the Joker, and he says, dude, her voice is so hot. And I remember my lip curled. And I think it, visibly curled. I think he saw my lip curl, and then kind of got uncomfortable. I don't remember exactly, but, wow. I don't know, man. That ain't it. I don't hear that kind of voice. I don't know. Maybe I'm a hater, but that ain't
she kind of has the Fran Drescher voice from The Nanny, if anybody knows that.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That kind of Queens-ish, Jude voice.
Yeah,
that's not hot.
No,
it's like a caricature.
It's not, especially because everyone else since Harley Quinn was in that cartoon, which frankly I'm not sure she should have left. Since then, every iteration of her has been somebody chewing it a little bit more, so it's getting more exaggerated.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I'm getting at. Is now it's just this nasally it's iconic, but in a bad way. And I'm just not a huge fan of that.
So the official explanation is that she didn't talk like that.
Right.
She does it on purpose because apparently that's what Joker likes. He wants her to be a dumb bimbo.
I buy that. I actually buy that.
And so she does it, which they actually do pretty well in the Harley Quinn animated show, where it's because when she's with him briefly, she goes back to him, her speech changes. She starts talking like that. And then when she eventually gets away from him again, she goes back to being she still kind of talks like that, but it's
it's not a caricature.
It's not she's just speaking normally now. I
actually like this because that was always a hang up for me.
However,
yeah,
this just made me imagine Batman in his cave. Once he finds out that that's she puts that on, he's no, I just have to search the internet for all the people who have specifically developed a fetish for that exact voice, and then find all of that pornography, and then see who in Gotham is looking at any of this, and then I will find the Joker. Where are they?
Hey man, world's greatest detective right there.
Yeah, 100%, dude.
Also, tangent. Anyone else watch a little bit of the Suicide Squad anime?
No.
The anime or the new series thing that's going on?
The anime.
I have not seen the new Suicide Squad isekai. No.
It's something.
Oh my God.
I didn't watch
isekai.
Yeah, I didn't watch all of it.
What?
I watched a few episodes.
So it's like Batman Ninja, but an anime, but Suicide Squad.
Yeah, but more they don't go to they go to a fantasy
isekai,
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get isekai.
And they get powers. They get magic powers.
Yeah.
I don't like this.
It's they tried, but I didn't finish it. But
was this Warner Brothers doing?
Yeah. Warner Brothers Japan. You best believe it. I only brought it up because right away in the first episode, it kept me watching, honestly, because I was just that's absurd. Why would you do that? Why? Oh my God.
Her accent's got to be crazy.
Oh my God.
A Jewish Japanese.
Their interpretation of the Joker is interesting. Where he's less cackly, kind of mad, and he's more just like sinister, like deep voice, like Harley, like yeah, and he's got like a almost like a shark mouth smile tattooed over his mouth. It's real weird. No, but anyway,
I like it better than Jared Leto's.
The only reason I brought it up is because they show in the Harley, who basically getting captured, is that they're driving around. They just did a heist, and they're in a version of the Joker mobile where he drives it by playing a piano.
That rules.
That's
so insane. That's such a bad way to drive a car.
And it was like it's like opening like 5 minutes is his piano Joker car, and then busting out of a bank, and then getting police showing up, and he's like,
how does it even work?
Like furiously hitting keys and then reversing, and then they like go. It was wild. I was like,
that rules.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
I'm starting to think Warner Brothers Japan might be the ones that we should be trusting with this franchise.
Yeah, that's a way to open a series for sure.
Yeah, it was bananas, and then I was like, well, you have my attention.
Yep.
And then it's just sort of like okay after that.
I hate
Gonna keep the momentum.
I like their version of Peacemaker, where he's just like a hyper competent like weird man. Like there's like this whole thing they have to, because they got the bombs in their heads or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they're on like a timer, and then everyone's like, well, they get captured, yada yada yada, and then people are like, wow, how much time has it been? We have to get back to the thing, and like, so it deactivates and resets the timer, and then he's been keeping count to the second the entire time, and so that's just a plot point from the rest. Forever now is that Peacemaker knows exactly how much time has passed at all times, because he's just
Dr. Stone shit.
He's just that
every second.
Yeah, he's just that good.
It's pretty impressive.
I stopped talking there for a moment entirely because I was like trying to even kind of do that. Where I'm like, one,
yeah, and this is
two,
while
three.
they're doing other stuff like fighting, getting captured, and all that, whatever. He just keeps count, like
that's crazy,
casually.
Goodness.
NBD.
So one of the things I wanted to say, I was going to be a writing dork about this because I don't want people to think that the reason I dislike Harley Quinn is just that like, oh, it's now not for me. Lots of things aren't for me. However, Harley Quinn, like, characters have value in their history, their, like, motives, and their relationships. And a big part of her value has been completed with, like, we've seen her, like, leave the Joker already. And that's a really, really good, like, place to mine value out of her character. But unfortunately, every attempt that I've seen to give her a new, like, relationship history, everything, just to give her more value to Plum as a character has been essentially it feels made up rather than like, oh, that's what should happen. Like, there's a rule in writing that, like, what happens next in your story should be like so or but, not and then. Like, oh, this happened, so this had to happen. They want this to happen, but this gets in their way. Whereas Harley Quinn, like, every time I've seen them try to do something with her, and I have seen the movies, and the only thing I haven't seen is I haven't seen the Harley Quinn show.
Pretty good.
The first episode really wasn't, but that might just be me being a hater. Every attempt I've seen to give her something else to, like, mine value out of that character, give her some other relationship that can show us meaning, has been and then. And then she and Poison Ivy. Oh, because they have these things in common? Yeah, I guess. It's not like there's no direct correlation between her character and any future that I've seen them give her. And that's why I don't like seeing Harley Quinn stuff. She has an annoying voice, and no value as a character has been shown to me, in particular, the big baby writer man.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like I don't want to say it's pandering, but yeah,
And she's a popular character. They want to keep using her,
yeah,
and that makes sense. But unfortunately, it's sort of like bringing back Iron Man into Marvel. For those of you who still pay attention to those films, why would you bother doing that?
yeah.
We already did it.
Well, they always overdo it in comics.
Oh yeah.
Like, one of the coolest characters they recently created, fairly recently, he's been around for a while now, is the Batman Who Laughs.
Yeah.
And then, because he was a hit, immediately just...
Batman Who Laughs destroys the universe.
Yeah, just really overplayed that card, like, as soon as that character became popular, which was like, it was cool at first.
And then a Tyrannosaurus Rex transplants his brain into Dr. Manhattan.
Wait, what?
That happened.
It's a whole thing.
Wait, whoa, what?
Well,
Yep.
no, I believe Tyrannosaurus Rex was Batman's brain. Batman Who Laughs captures a version of Bruce Wayne, I think, who is Dr. Manhattan, and transplants his brain into that. And then he's chasing a version of, I want to say Barry Allen, or either a Flash or a Robin, one of those characters, who is also a Dr. Manhattan, and he's chasing him to take his powers.
What do you mean by they're Dr. Manhattan?
So you know the
They're
character
from
Dr.
a different reality.
Do you know
where-
the character Dr. Manhattan
Yeah,
from
the Watchmen? Yes, I'm
They
familiar.
just brought that character completely into DC.
like literally his name is Dr.
His name is
Manhattan.
Dr. Manhattan,
Yeah.
and his backstory is being in the Watchmen franchise. The equivalent of what Ewan did with Zorro.
There was a
For those of you at home, when we play D&D, our buddy Ewan rolls a lot of characters that are just character transplanted into D&D. For example, the halfling Johnny Depp, whose backstory was he did the 3 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and then we ended up doing Strahd with us.
Yeah. Anyway, his character in this one is Zorro from the hit series One Piece.
Whose backstory was he did all the stuff that Zorro did in One Piece.
Yeah. And then now he's here.
At level 1 fighter.
D&D rules.
But yeah, so I guess, they just transplanted Dr. Manhattan into DC.
yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's
Well, so and
It kind of worked.
I mean, it does, but I still don't like
but
it.
this is
and then they started transferring brains out of it because he's apparently quite stoppable.
But this is specifically not Dr. Manhattan, that character. This is versions of other people who gained his same abilities.
Yeah.
They got him, they got them, and then Batman Who Laughs just transplanted his brain into one of them. Now he's the Dr. Manhattan Who Laughs, and then
No.
he's chasing after another character who has the same thing, so he can become a double Dr. Manhattan.
Yeah.
And then he can kill
How many doctors Manhattan?
Does it take to?
2 apparently.
Yep.
And
then you're top of the universe.
and then he can kill like some embodiment of reality. They keep making them up. I think it's
These are the hands, I believe.
she's fairly recent, I think. Eclipsa or some shit like that, or
But she's part of this group called the Hands, which are just gods.
The writers
Yeah.
of the comic?
No, you wish.
No,
That's a different.
they do that bit fairly often.
Yeah.
Actually,
They
although
do.
I only know about
does
Marvel
that-
doing it.
Marvel
yeah.
does that bit.
Marvel does that bit. They'll actually like have somebody go to visit God, and they'll open it, and it's like a workshop from the '60s that like
it's
Kirby
Jack-
would have been.
and it's Jack Kirby.
Yeah, been working in, and he's just like, oh, how do you do? Whereas DC will be like, and then our creators are this powerful, and then that's us, the writers. We're that powerful in DC, and then above that is this Batman we made, which technically means that he's stronger than us in real life. This drawing of Batman is more valuable and powerful than a human life.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Anyway,
Who writes this shit, dude?
It's a whole thing.
Detective Comics.
Yeah, I guess they do, don't they?
So they're actually DC comics, so technically Detective Comics.
Comics rule.
Yeah, wrap your head
Just
around
do
that.
whatever. Make Dr. Manhattans and Harley Quinn farts her way to the multiverse and fuck it. It's a fucking field
It's
goal.
a fucking field goal, dude. Fuck it.
So my favorite one is actually like dumb thing that I know about is from Doom Patrol, where I believe it was written by the My Chemical Romance guy who did
Brandon Urie,
who did Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he wrote this series, and it's like there's like a company that they're a retcon corps, I think they're called, and they control like the DC like timeline.
fucked up.
Went over my head, sorry. And it's like they have their own personal version of Superman called the Milkman, and it's just Superman.
Milkman.
And he's dressed as a milkman, and they use him as like
Is he going around fucking all the housewives?
No, he's just like their enforcer. He's the milkman.
Okay, so I made the right joke, but it went over everyone's head, so that was not good. So I did Brandon Urie, who's the guy from Panic at the Disco.
Oh,
Is what the Gerard Way is the
I don't-
actual man.
I don't know.
And then I was like, oh shit, I didn't mix them up, did I? Because no one
Why would I know?
blinked.
Why would I know either of those
Yeah.
people?
Well, sometimes I forget that I was an emo little kid in high school, and you guys were listening to metal and stuff.
Yeah, I don't listen to Panic at the Disco. Not talking shit, but yeah, I'm like a heavy metal boy. Like, I
Yeah.
don't, that's
Well, I forgot.
that's my.
and then I
Barry
got
Black, man.
self-conscious about the stupid joke.
Yeah, it was a bad joke, and you're a bad man.
You're right. So I actually did have the thought the other day. I started over-explaining my jokes as a bit to make me laugh like 2-3 years ago. And now I do it so reflexively that I just sit back and scream in my head every time I do it, like, just let the joke happen!
As long as you're aware of me.
I've tricked myself I've made myself less funny for the purposes of making myself laugh.
God bless.
And I'm going to continue to do it probably for a while, but
just
I'm
double down.
trying to
No,
cut back.
double down.
No, just double down. Yeah.
Double down.
Fuck it, bro.
all right. Doom Patrol was fun.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to completely derail everything.
You're good. I don't really know much about that storyline other than like that main bit, and then like
The Milkman.
yeah, and then like how they saved the universe from there. DC's always creating like new tiers of gods, because also in that storyline there's these gods apparently that called the Eonymus, who watch basically DC Comics happen. Like they sit around like a TV basically, and then they watch like the events of DC Comics happen, and if they're not entertained, then they'll just destroy everything. And that's like a plot point that's why Retcon Corps exists, is to keep them entertained.
Right, so they can change up thing in case they're like,
And-
I don't like that part of the story, and they're like, that's okay, it didn't even count. It didn't even count.
We already changed it. Watch it again.
That's silly. I hate this.
Yeah, and then it's like, but Doom Patrol is also usually like largely isolated.
Doom Patrol's supposed to be like, oh, that's just silly.
They're the
Yeah,
latest
and
heroes.
They take it seriously because to them it's like, that's, be that as it may, that it's a T-Rex sized parrot and pretty funny because of that. It's still like a big angry bird. It'll eat us.
We gotta do something about that.
The Doom Patrol's tagline is like Earth's strangest heroes.
the strangest heroes.
Love
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But like
Accurate.
outside of their own like comics, like they never get like commented on. And it's just sort of like whatever happens in Doom Patrol is like, yeah, that's over there. Like whatever. Oh, real DC's over here. Kind of like Section 8. Anyone?
No.
Section 8? A joke superhero group that was created
Oh, that makes sense then.
with featuring heroes such as
What is this where Bueno?
Yeah, Bueno Excellente.
Oh man.
who fights
Oh man.
who fights crime with the power of perversion.
He's just sweating. He's like an overweight, sweating man, and he always says his Bueno and Excelente, and like
That's all he ever says. And then he's in a trench coat, and then he's got like
naked under that tree.
he's got like a thong, like a
Banana hammock.
like a speedo.
Didn't he kill some like character that was actually really strong or something?
Because he can like shadow step behind you by leering over your shoulder.
That's his whole thing. Is the whole joke of Bueno Excelente is that they'll be like fighting criminals, and then all of a sudden, like the criminals will just be facing them, and then all of a sudden his hand just appears behind them on their shoulder, and then they're like, huh? And then off screen, the characters will be watching, and they'll be like, oh my god, like, and You never find out what he does to them, but the implication is there. His
Right.
power is perversion. And then you might be thinking of the Martian Manhunter tried to read his mind and then flew away screaming in panic and terror.
I think that's what I was thinking of.
Because apparently it's just that bad.
It's just
It's
the void,
that
the
bueno.
abyss.
Yeah. And then there's
Excelente.
featuring other characters such as Friendly Fire, who has actual superpowers. He can shoot lasers, but
only
unfortunately, he can only hit allies.
Well, that's fine. You just need one mirror guy.
Yeah, and then there's Jean de Baton, who fights evil with the power of being French.
Oh.
And
Does he like snap baguettes or people's heads?
Yes,
and
he
shit? No
he
way!
fights with a baguette.
No way!
And he is dressed in like the classic like beret, like the white striped like top.
Oh my
He's
god.
dressed like a Looney Tunes
Capris
Frenchman.
and the paint. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the
Travels by bicycle.
Oh my fucking
My cigarette
god.
has a really long holder, la
And,
Cruella de Vil.
there's Six Pack, who fights with
Beer?
the power of alcoholism.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a hero I can get behind.
Based.
Who else? There's the one I can never fucking pronounce. The
Defenestrator?
Yeah.
The Defenestrator, he throws people through windows?
Yes, he carries around a window frame and he throws people through it.
Hell yeah.
He looks like basically Arnold Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's clearly like a joke version of that. But he carries the window around, and that's his whole thing, is he throws people through it.
That rules.
That's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, he was institutionalized for throwing a man through the same window 13 times.
Oh man.
Ran down to the floor, and he's like, oh my god! Oh thank god, you're gonna call for help? What are you doing? Oh, back into the building, that's smart. It's dangerous out here, I could get trampled. Why are we going upstairs? No, not again! 13 times.
Yes. And then the last one, I think he's the last one, is Phlegm Gem, who
I don't care for Phlegm Gem.
who produces prodigious amounts of phlegm. Oh no, there's one more, Shakes, who shakes.
Oh.
Probably has Parkinson's.
Oh. That's sadder.
That's just sad,
So
yeah.
he's more of a Make-A-Wish situation.
And Friendly Fire usually hits Shakes.
Oh man, just taking while they're down.
Well, don't give him the mirror, because frankly, a big shaky mirror with an unstoppable laser is just death for everybody.
You said this is called Section 8?
Mm-hmm.
Downright silly. Marvel or DC?
DC.
Yeah, they're fucking bonkers.
They meet the Martian Manhunter and Wonder Woman, and then Six Pack is explaining to them their powers, air quotes.
Yeah.
You guys don't have powers.
Two of you definitely don't have powers.
Yeah.
One of you very, very sick.
And Wonder Woman watches Bueno Excelente in action and is basically just like, great Hera.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's fucking rough.
I haven't seen anything from DC Comics that has been very interesting lately, but a thing that I paid attention to it while it was going on a couple years ago. I didn't read all of it because I'm not what we would call good at making sure I'm reading things. I like to just have opinions, just form them myself out of nothing with no references.
Based.
But they had a thing for the Hulk recently, the Immortal Hulk run, which was essentially like, hey, you know how the Hulk heals like really fast, and we don't show that. We don't give him the Wolverine treatment where like we'll show like his muscles forming back onto his skeleton, and then while screaming you see like all of his skin grows back, and then he's still crazy rage monster, and then Wolverine claws them all up. Super cool. We never get that with the Hulk. If the Hulk gets shot or something, next time he gets back up, he has maybe like a green schmutz. But otherwise, he's just the Hulk. He looks invincible all the time. Or he's shot into space. Well, the Immortal Hulk is like, hey, what if we just started showing that shit? And so, one of the scenes that they had that I love, this is great. Like the evil scientist character who's trying to study the Hulk, chops the Hulk to pieces and keeps all of his parts in jars so that they can't all heal together. And it's I don't know why one would then taunt a Hulk, but then he would go up to like the jar with the Hulk head in it all the time and be like, You're never getting out of there. I'm going to make sure you stay in there forever because you're here for science and I am King Daddy Science. So then the Hulk just goes, now I'm going to heal. And the guy's like, what do you mean? And then all the organs splurge out of the friggin' jars and just form around that guy.
Oh, fuck.
And the Hulk heals with a man in him.
Okay.
That guy's dead.
It's a good move.
Absorbed for nutrients.
Yeah. In terms of, like...
That's a horrifying death.
Yeah, right? Like, getting killed by the Hulk generally encompasses, is that the Hulk? Ah! And then that's it. You don't ever have to have any other thoughts. He gets you. Whereas this guy... Oh my god. Because once you're in there, he's the Hulk. You're not going to tear through his esophagus with your dumb pink hands. His green throat is too mighty.
Yeah.
You're just crushed. You get the cowrie treatment, but probably also for a little longer. Because he's just gigantic. There's a lot of room in there for you to suffocate in.
That's fucking weird, man.
Yeah. The Immortal Hulk run was actually weird in a lot of other ways that I'm not touching on right now.
Huh.
They did something kind of similar in the most recent Invincible season.
Oh, yeah?
Spoilers. There's the chick who can shrink like an Ant-Man.
Oh, yeah.
And then she tries to go into like this, like a guy with like super strength and like mess up his insides. Like she goes big again in there. Then he's like, "Roar!" And then he like flexes really hard. And she's like just gets crushed.
Why would you... That's her fault. She overcommitted. They always show that these shrinking people have the ability to, like, expand to the dimension of the thing first, and then stop. Then you could give it, like, a little test elbow. And then if it starts squeezing back, you just shrink again, baby girl. But no, these people, they get confident because of the memes about Ant-Man blowing up Thanos' anus, which wouldn't work for the same exact reason.
The show really fakes you out though, because she does it, and then like he's like and like spits up some blood and stuff, but then he's just like and she's like she screams from like inside of him.
From the opposite end of this,
She lives.
We obviously have the boys.
She's real fucked up though from now on.
Where a shrunken man crawls inside of you to
Yeah.
simulate sex and then accidentally grows and explodes you.
Oh my god.
The Boys is wild.
The Boys is wild.
He sneezed because he was doing too much cocaine.
Yeah.
Cocaine's a real problem in the superhero community in The Boys. And I mean, frankly, it probably would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I'd buy that.
I mean, it's a terrible problem in, like, every community.
Yeah, amphetamines are a hell of a drug.
Yeah, you could go to, like, an office building and be like, hey, you guys do cocaine? And if gun to their heads, I'll make them do that cocaine. But no, there's probably people in the office doing cocaine. It tears ass through every community.
Yeah.
Cocaine's great. I love cocaine.
It's a hell of a drug for sure. Famous words of Rick James.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Don't take it if you're a superhero. If you or your loved one is a superhero and addicted to cocaine, please get them help.
Get help. Stop.
And if they stop being a superhero because they can't do it without the cocaine, well, that's probably for the best.
Powered by amphetamines.
If you need the cocaine, if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. But about cocaine.
And with that, we're going to end tonight's episode. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy the nature of this content, go and give me a like and subscribe on my YouTube channel, Fanfare. And if you want to support us, you can go and check out our Patreon at Fanfare. And with that, have a great night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.